Would you like to do the honors?
Welcome back to the Hard-Headed Podcast.
Yeah.
This is episode 11.
It is. That's
Yes,
amazing.
it is.
Cheers to that.
If we kept filming more often, we'd be maybe episode 15.
Yes, we've been very busy, so we haven't
have.
been able to have a weekly podcast. But now we're trying to go for like shorter podcasts,
Yeah.
but more frequent, and
Yeah.
then just freestyling and sharing our thoughts and feelings. Because that's
Something-
what hard-headed.
Something more doable. Sorry I cut you.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
What are you having?
We're wearing our Santa hat,
Yes.
being
Those are
cute.
the holidays.
I also have a bad hair day, so this is proper for me. This is perfect.
What are you having?
Oh, what am I having? Coffee.
Beautiful.
And what are you having?
I'm having my protein shake, vegan protein shake, because dairy stuff makes me shit blocks. I'm kind of lactose intolerant, and
Classy.
yeah, I did pea protein and hemp protein. You guys should try it. It's full of not just fiber and vitamins and minerals, but together they're complete proteins. You have all the amino acids.
Cheers. And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling well. I was feeling tired. I had a weird sleep for the headache. I'm good now, though. We had a nice walk.
We had a nice walk. Yeah, it's been sunny. Despite it being cold, it's been quite sunny. So
Oh.
it's fun. It's cool.
Okay, the fuck do we talk about? Anything. We need to catch up. That's what we need to do.
Where have we been for more than a month?
And it's the end of the year too. It's like the perfect opportunity to
Explain
reminisce
ourselves?
and explain ourselves. How has this year been?
Yeah.
We have been preparing to expand for 2024. We're starting to partner with a lot of people to expand our business because our whole platform is education. So we're now expanding beyond just Arabic teaching. We're bringing in cooking classes, but now bringing people who have their own followers. So
Yeah.
it's like a more appropriate kind of partnership.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, like it's really, we're focusing on culture. We're not focusing mainly on Middle Eastern things only necessarily, even though that is part of our goal and changing the narrative and all that. It's really celebrating global culture.
Culture, diversity, and also specifically when you said changing the narrative, it's for Arabs in particular, since this is us, it's our roots, but changing the narrative in general, in the sense of, for example, decolonization. And like you guys have seen with Gaza and Palestine, there's a lot of not just misinformation, but there's this standard Western colonial thinking that tries to suppress the truth. So social media has been a big help, but it's also going through hurdles because it's controlled. Social media, like Instagram, is controlled by Meta, and they're sleeping with the government. So all that to say is that education is very important to us as a way to really uproot and not just decolonize as in the world, but decolonize the mind.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That was well said.
decolonize your mind.
Yeah.
Because you guys don't know, here in Canada and in the US, we also have something called concentration camps, which is reservations. My friend, who was Mohawk,
Yeah.
by the
Tell
way.
us about your friend. What
My
was his
friend,
name?
His name is, I love it. It's Gaguila Nolon.
I still can't pronounce Gaguila Nolon.
Yes,
Okay, I said it well.
but yes.
hope I
So
didn't-
shout out to you, brother. Had the chance to catch up with him, and because he was thinking of us with what's happening in Palestine, because it's similar, Just Native Americans have been going through it for centuries, So it's just we were catching up and talking about how colonization is still happening in North America and around the world. It's just you see it because we're in a modern times. You think because society has evolved and we're industrial and everything in North America that we're past it, but we're nowhere near being past it.
Yeah.
They're fully immersed in colonization and still facing horrible human rights abuses. Their language and culture is being threatened.
Yeah.
It's like it is threatened, and that it can be like, I don't know if I could say that. It's like on the verge of being extinguished. It's like on the verge of being extinct.
Yeah, talking about that subject, I don't want to pretend like I know a lot about it. I feel like I didn't do enough research or educate myself enough on the matter of First Nations. The extent of my education was taking a class on First Nations in university. So I don't want to pretend like I know everything, but I
Neither
learned a
do I,
lot
yeah.
through you
Yeah.
because you really dug deep
I
in the
researched
past
more,
and you did
yeah, but
research. Yeah, and I also don't want to be a hypocrite advocating for Palestine and decolonization
and
and
forget here.
also forgetting here, First Nations and what they went through historically, which is
You learned
disgusting. And yeah, so I feel like my part, I should, if I'm going to be advocating for Palestine, I should also advocate for other oppressed.
here back home.
Yeah, exactly. I am on stolen land now, and I recognize that, and many countries are stolen land if you think about it. But we get a lot of comments from people like, you're being a hypocrite. Why are you talking about Palestine? Well, you're on stolen land as well. Yeah, I agree.
Or
We
you're
know.
speaking the colonizer's language.
Exactly. We know that. You're not like telling us, oh, I got you there. You're not really doing that because we are aware of this. And doesn't mean we're not accounting for it or like acknowledging it and hiding from that,
Decolonization is, for anyone who's not sure what that means, and for anyone who gets triggered and that they think it means that it's somehow genocidal thinking. Decolonization, and that is said by natives themselves. Like, this is something I was told. Decolonization is not about kicking you out. If you're the colonizer or your ancestors are the colonizer. Like, I was born in Canada, you were born in Canada. Okay? I don't have a house somewhere else. It's like we came here we are born here because we are the result of our generations past who fled. There was the war that is connected to colonization. So here we are. The first step in decolonization is recognizing you're on stolen land.
Yeah.
That's number one. Recognizing that there are concentration camps here, recognizing the horrors of colonization, and then doing what's necessary to recognize their sovereignty. When Europeans came here, they didn't come, and that's something my friend Gaguila told me. He's like, they still have to face this idea in Quebec, for example, that when Samuel de Champlain came, there was nobody, and therefore they did not colonize anything. They didn't steal any land, so they have to deal with this. And this idea then is translated into policies, right? For example, whenever there's a whole issue here in Quebec for anyone who's not aware about protecting French culture. So, and I see where they're coming from in the sense if they feel like they're a minority in North America, but I find it's a complete hypocrisy to want to protect French language here, while completely ignoring the indigenous languages that are actually being extinguished. So it's very two-faced, and it's as two-faced or hypocritical to celebrate or drive by streets that have the names of genocidal people, like Amherst.
Yeah.
I go cut my hair on a street that is called Amherst. For anyone who doesn't know who Amherst is, he was a British general centuries back who blatantly believed that Native Americans are a disease, that they're like insects, that they should be exterminated because they're vile. And he even pushed, part of his campaign or strategy was to give them blankets that had smallpox, give them blankets with disease. So to have that as a name of a street is a simple reminder that colonization is very present.
Yeah.
The other thing, that's one thing that's stuck with me too in decolonization, was when you arrive and you recognize that you're on land that belongs to someone, what do you do when you are using a land that belongs to someone? You pay rent. So
Good point.
that's one example of decolonization that we spoke about. And that's something I learned from the land back movement. It's pay rent, meaning pay perhaps something like an indigenous tax. It's just steps that are reconciliation.
It's
That's
the
what it
bare
is.
minimum.
Exactly.
It's the
So
bare minimum.
for Palestine,
Yeah.
recognizing that you're on land that belongs to someone and recognizing that everything that is happening now in Palestine is colonization. But that's hard to accept because if you recognize that you're doing something wrong, it takes a lot of courage to accept it. It's
also
easier
hard.
to deny it.
It's hard to accept also when the majority of news channels are on one side and they're not showing you or highlighting really everything in all detail.
And by the way, Jewish persecution is real. Okay, it's like you can't stand for Palestine and ignore Jewish persecution.
Yeah.
It is real. It is a problem. It's been happening for thousands of years,
Yes.
and unfortunately, it gave birth. The grievances of Jewish persecution gave birth to Zionism because it was believed to be a solution, but it's not, because it's segregationist. And it's not a solution. It's not a solution to create a separate state. Division is not a
It
solution.
never was.
No, this is why we believe in a one-state solution. A two-state solution, we're really going political here, but it's
Yeah,
important.
you really are.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna ask you a question here. I don't know if you wanna.
You know what? It's a shared thoughts and feelings. So
Okay.
we're deep dive here. Anyway.
Okay.
My channel's also, by the way, like I've really been pushed more than ever since October to dive deep because I've always been about changing the narrative. So I felt like I really need to go all in for that.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, I don't believe in a two-state solution. A two-state solution for me perpetuates the problem. It perpetuates division. A one-state solution is the actual, it's not a radical thing. It's not genocidal. A one-state solution doesn't mean eradicating Jews now living on in what you might call Israel today. It's about allowing the right of self-determination to Palestinians through one state. I'll finish my point. And allowing for Jews and Palestinians to coexist in peace. And everybody who is Christian, Muslim, or Jewish. That's a real unified solution.
That's how it was when my grandma was living there.
There you go. And
My
then-
grandma was born in 1920 and was in the state of Palestine and lived among Muslim, Christians, and Jewish. And it was completely normal back then. And you'll find a lot of Jewish people that identify as Palestinian Jewish, not Israeli Jewish. But now, I
What's
don't know
your
how
question?
deep you want to go into this politically.
Hey, it's exciting, no?
You said it. You believe in a one-state solution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What one-state solution? An Israeli
No, of course
one
not.
or a Palestinian one?
Of course not.
Okay. Well, now the problem is that you'll
Palestine.
have some. If you say Israeli state solution, a lot of people, it's not going to fix it is that's what it is now. But they're unfortunately dominant in military or I don't know what other organization, and they will continue to oppress their ideology and everything else about them on Palestinians. Now, if you were to say a Palestinian one-state solution, many people will say, well, that would be a terrorist state.
Or that calls for genocide of
Yes.
Israelis or Jews living there.
Yes.
But that's the propaganda.
How are you going to satisfy everyone's needs if both are going to believe one thing or another? You know?
Let me put that down.
Go ahead.
Look, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm the historical expert on this. Okay,
Yeah.
But I can see human rights abuse and I can see colonization. And when you see colonization, you make a lot of enemies. Because decolonization starts in the mind and it requires a paradigm shift. It requires a complete cultural change. And that means a generational change. It means that generations think very differently. Today we have social media. We didn't have in 1948 social media. It's very easy for Americans at the time to view Palestinians as the problem, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to feed a cause. Even to this day, the propaganda machine is strong. But you have an equally strong machine, if you will, which is the internet. You know,
If there was internet in 1948, a lot of people would be on Palestinian side, actually.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's not even, for me, I'm not even on the Palestinian side. I
It's
am.
not as- yeah,
But
ex-
I'm
thank
not
you.
on the
Yes.
I'm on the the oppressed side.
Yeah.
Whether you're religious or atheist or just you understand basic history or
Yeah.
you understand human rights, God doesn't stand on the side of the oppressor. Human rights, understanding human rights means you don't stand on the side of the oppressor, which also means you don't stand for Jewish persecution. I deeply believe that the Palestinian cause is deeply connected to safeguarding Jewish rights. If you protect Jewish rights, you help the Palestinian cause. Because when you don't help safeguard Jewish rights, it feeds division. It feeds Zionism. That's what Zionism wants. It feeds the idea that the only solution is to have a separate Jewish state,
Yeah.
an ethno-state.
Yeah.
But if you guys are not familiar with ethno-states are a dangerous ideology, and I made a video about that, which I'm planning to edit, so you guys are going to see it soon, or you already seen it. All that to say is a paradigm shift is necessary for a one-state solution, and we have seen that a two-state solution is not working.
Yeah.
Netanyahu doesn't want a two-state solution. He's even helped to prop up Hamas to feed his narrative that look what happens if you have a two-state solution. He said verbatim that we should thwart the establishment of a Palestinian state. So you see that it doesn't work. Their goal is to create a separate ethno-state that dominates. It's a colonial state. So when I say one-state solution, I say a one Palestinian state where you don't have, I don't believe in a divided Jerusalem, the city of peace.
It makes no sense.
That is divided.
Yeah.
The Western Wall,
Like
the
all
West
the
Bank.
stories I hear from my grandparents about Jerusalem is how it was this place where all three Abrahamic religions come together and just celebrate each their own way and respect one another. So it is so weird to hear how they're separating it. They're separating that.
For me, it's like the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
It's built, walls divide, and they're built on segregationist ideologies, and they're built on they just stand against what makes us human.
Yeah.
And I feel like any power structure that is built on fear and division is destined to crumble. Zionism is
100%.
destined to crumble because it is an ideology, and the state of Israel is the birth child of this ideology that is built on fear and division and segregation.
Yeah.
So it's destined to crumble. It does not mean that Jews are supposed to be removed as Zionism is removed. Just like Germans are not supposed to be removed as Nazi Germany is removed. You remove the ideology, you're not removing the people.
Yeah.
But you recognize that you're on sovereign land. Here, for example, it means recognizing that the original name of Montreal, for example, is
Geojage?
Jojage.
I hope I didn't butcher it.
Yeah, that the original people are the indigenous people. So you start to create a movement of decolonization, mental and then physical.
Yeah.
And you allow people to recognize that the way forward is to repair the damages of the past, to revitalize the culture, and to honor the people who are there.
I hope we're always one step closer to that every year by year, day by day, week by week.
Personally, if I look at what's happening today on social media, I don't think I've seen this kind of shift. I have never seen this kind of awareness from our generation as there was perhaps 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Today more than ever. So not that this should take another 20 years, but in another perhaps 10 years, you're going to see an even greater support for it because people will see more than ever what it is, you know?
Yeah, I don't think after this one, Israel would be able to recover from it. More people woke up from it. More people are seeing it for what it is.
The Likud party of Netanyahu traces its roots back to something called revisionist Zionism, which was defined by territorial expansion.
Oh, that's great.
It was an expansionist version of Zionism that wanted to extend beyond the Jordan River, spill into Jordan and even parts of Syria, and I would even argue some of Lebanon, right? So, and you can see this ideology. His dad, I think his Benzoin Netanyahu, his name was a key figure in revisionist Zionism. So it makes a lot of sense for the way Netanyahu is behaving right now. So all that to say is...
These people all need therapy.
And jail.
Yeah.
They just need to be tried by the International Criminal Court.
Yep.
But that means the UN also has to be transformed.
The UN? I don't even understand their purpose.
I think
they're useless.
The UN's concept is good. It's about being United Nations that operate together for global issues.
That's it.
But it's unfortunately controlled by 5 permanent states who won World War II, who have veto power.
Okay, so then why exist in the first place if something else is going to have veto power over you?
You either need an alternative to the UN or a complete transformation of the UN and establish an actual world parliament where all those nations, 190 from memory, all have voting power, not just those 5 fucking hegemonic states.
Whatever. Anyway.
Politics.
So, politics,
Human rights.
Forget politics. It's exactly that. Human rights, fairness, justice.
This is how the year has been. This year, I would say personally,
very weird 3 months.
Yeah, it's been a very big shift for me too in terms of what I feel is my purpose.
Yeah, your social media
and changing the narrative. It's even I'm still doing comedy. We're doing it together, but we're doing it as we always have with a message. Now even more direct.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need the comedy to make a point, and also to uplift people and give dignity and be relatable. But I'm going really head first or head on in tackling colonization and human rights.
I'm just going to have a cookie now after this heavy talk.
She made some really good cookies, guys.
I made gingerbread cookies.
Yeah, show them.
I didn't put icing yet, but for whoever's watching, I made gingerbread cookies. But I still need to put a face and stuff. You want a piece now?
Yeah.
Okay. They're really good, eh?
Yeah.
I love it.
Anything else you want to add?
So what are our plans for next year? Okay, so it's weird for me because we haven't traveled for more than a year now. Since we got married. We've been married like 2 years, and a bit more than 2 years now. And since we got married, all we did was travel. So for me, not traveling for more than a year is very odd. Feels weird.
That's all we did when we traveled.
But
when we got married.
Yeah, we didn't book it yet, but we're so excited. Next year with our plan, we're going to Japan. And we're going to go during cherry blossom season. So that would be like mid-April and to mid-May. 3 weeks maybe staying there. We don't know how long, but we're going to stay a long time. And hopefully a beach vacation, a much needed beach vacation. I can't, winter here for me and this. It affects me. Yeah. It affects me mentally.
And then baby making.
Okay, you just went there. I was going to introduce it slowly.
Oh, fine. Go for it. It's happening officially next year. We're going to make some babies.
It's time. It's time to reach that grown-up stage.
What do you guys think? You think it's going to be a girl or a boy first?
You think it's going to be a girl.
It's my feeling.
Yeah. It's ever since you say it's a girl, it's my feeling now too.
Of course, I want both. If it's a boy, it's like amazing.
I want both.
It's just a feeling.
Yeah. Growing up, I always wanted boys. Maybe because I've always been like a soccer mom style. I loved video games. I love playing sports.
So. Yeah, you're assuming those are boy things though.
You're right. You're totally right.
But they are not.
Absolutely. So I feel like
both our kids are going to be warriors.
Yeah. I'm putting our girl in martial arts.
Boy or girl, I mean.
Yeah. They're both going to be in martial arts.
Muay Thai, boxing, and karate, baby.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to be those parents. I feel like you're going to teach them first.
I'm already teaching them.
Oh. How are you teaching them already?
their spirits and souls are already
I wasn't aware of that.
being inculcated,
Oh,
being educated in the ways and the spirit of martial arts.
okay. I think you should stop there.
Excited to be a mom?
Yeah. Did I scare you? Did you think I was gonna say no? Mm-hmm. It's like I'm excited and
All
not
right.
excited
3 things you're looking forward to, 3 things you're not.
for next year.
No, for
Being a mom,
or pregnancy.
seeing you as a dad.
Oh,
I'm excited for that.
yeah, I'm gonna be.
You're gonna be a
badass.
great dad.
I'm gonna be a
Yeah,
fucking good father.
yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Just seeing like what they're gonna look like. It's like this thing
Well, you and I apparently
that
look.
is a mix of both of us. Like, what is it gonna look like? It's
The
weird.
thing is we are told we look alike, so our kids are just gonna look like us.
Well, they say the first daughter looks
like
a lot
the
like the dad, and the first son looks a lot like the mom.
But then we look like each other.
But okay, sure, but not that much. Are you done with that shake?
No, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Good though.
13 I'm excited about being a mom would be seeing what kind of mom I'll be.
You excited about that?
No, like it's
curious?
Yeah, I'm curious.
You're gonna be a legendary mother,
You think?
as your legendary wife.
Aw. All right. What are you most excited about next year?
Japan. The expansion of Rise. So fucking excited because it's like everything is because Rise is our dream. It's our first baby if you think about it.
Yeah.
So seeing that grow and the hard work and smart work we put into it, because we don't just work hard, we work smart. It's really about, keep that in mind, guys, when you think of any task or business, smart. And I just love seeing this thing that we built together grow. It's born out of love.
I'm so proud of us.
I know.
Like this year we started when did we start the classes?
May
In May.
took off like
And it
crazy.
just took off. Yeah, it's really a great thing.
Every year we have
that was our
something
boom
that, yeah.
this year.
The first
classes.
was when we started with the classes subscriptions.
Yeah.
And I can't even talk about subscriptions, and then that. So now next year is really the partnership expanding, and it's really it's great to partner with people who share
Yeah.
your vision.
Yeah.
too.
And values.
and they have the enthusiasm, yes, and the values. So yeah, so that in Japan and baby making, baby, seeing you pregnant.
I'm not excited to be pregnant. Sorry to burst. I mean, like I'm curious,
I'm
but
gonna
at the same time,
pamper
I'm
you
worried.
even more.
Yeah, I know you will. I appreciate it, but it's like I'm reading this book now, and it's like basically a book that it's more recent. So they go about explaining how to conceive to when you're pregnant and steps after pregnancy. And right now I'm at the steps after pregnancy, so I didn't finish the book yet. It's called Bumpin', for everyone who's wondering.
What are the things that
like
stood out?
it makes it. I'm excited and not excited at the same. Oh, the thing that stood out is knowing that I could drink coffee,
But yeah, up to a certain amount.
200 milligrams of caffeine per day.
The thing that stood out for me,
No.
although I'm not surprised, and I loved to hear or read, is it's not just the lady that has to take care of her health, but the man too. Because your little soldiers, they impact what happens to the baby.
Yeah,
So you better take care of your fucking health.
I'm just not looking forward for the nausea. That's if I feel nausea. Every woman's body is different, so everything I read, I know is not gonna happen specifically, or something else will happen. It's never exactly that. We're aware of that, but it's just it prepares you and it tells you about every possibility. So
You know, my main thing is that you're healthy, meaning that you're safe,
yeah,
and there's no complications or any issues you go through. That's all I care about. You
Same.
know what I mean?
same.
Everything else, I think, we'll be able to go through.
Yeah,
Of course, if you're gonna have nausea, it sucks. But I have a feeling that you're not gonna have an extreme kind of pregnancy.
Yeah, I have a feeling too. Yeah.
And we're excited to share it with you guys because you guys are all our family.
You're gonna be those cute dads that have like those things they wrap around their body, and then there's the baby in front of them, and you're just walking.
Oh yeah.
With your finger holding
displaying
their
my
hands.
pride.
All right, shall we wrap it up? Thank you guys for listening and supporting us. Share your thoughts, stories, ask us anything you want, and leave it on our website at riseprojects.com/heartheaded. That's RYZE
projects.com/heartheaded.
You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and directly on our website, riseprojects.com/heartheaded.
Oh yeah.
We really hope you guys enjoy the holidays with your family and friends despite these challenging times. But we really want to thank you for supporting us and being here until the end. For anyone who's listening, we appreciate it. We thank you and we love you.
We love you and thank you for all your support. Some of you are more quiet. Some of you are more loud in your comments. But we know you're all there supporting us and we see you all. And enjoy your time with your loved ones. And we'll see you next year.
In 2024.
Yes.
Love you.
Love you.